Here's Johnny.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi-ho.
And when you're down here with me, you float down!
Like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
What up, film fans? Welcome to episode 27 of season 7. Welcome to Smile 2. This is a brand new episode of Friday the 14th podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Juan, and I'm joined by
Franco.
Franco.
And
Saint
Nick.
I don't know about that Saint stuff, but
I think he's having some technical difficulties.
Nick
He
is
froze.
having some issues. He's
How you doing
frozen.
today, Juan?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good. It's the season.
Yeah, man. It's been a minute since we got to talk to you. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was pretty good.
Because last time we talked to you,
Is that better?
we got to talk Thanksgiving. So have a good, safe Thanksgiving. That was good. Nick, man, how about you? You've had a good few weeks? He has not. Still can't hear?
Yeah, I don't think he's still here.
Nick.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good, man. It was good. Filled with food, football, and some family. So that's all I can ask for. If you guys did not join us last time we had an episode, a few weeks ago, we talked about Christmas, Bloody Christmas. Me and Nick had a pretty fun conversation about the movie.
I wasn't here for that episode, but it was an enjoyable movie.
You liked it?
If anybody cares about my rating, I gave it 3.5.
Good. We do care. Nick was calling him the Saninator throughout the entire episode. So, yeah, 3.5 is good, man. I think that's where we all kind of put our rating in. So you matched in right there with us. Yeah,
That was a good one to just like throw on and forget, the world for a couple. I think it was like an hour and a half or so.
yeah. It was only an hour and 20 minutes. You're in and you're out. And if you guys want to play along and watch along with us, that movie is on Shudder. So go check out Shudder. The movie we're talking about today is on Paramount Plus. But while we're waiting on Nick, you guys can sit back and find us on these social medias. The Instagram is Friday the 14th podcast, or also find us at Imasawa Productions on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Just hit us up all on the social media. In those links right there, that's where you can find the links to the video on demand episode on YouTube, or you can search the Cinnamon Movie Podcast on Facebook or anywhere you listen to podcasts, and that's how you can listen to the audio version. His head. I heard him this time, but he's just finished, I guess. Man. But yeah, let's get into recent watches, man. Do you have anything that you've checked out recently that you want to mention or get off your chest? Or any shows that you've done that might have just went above and beyond?
Christmas Bloody Christmas. Recommend going and check that out on Shudder if you haven't. The movie we watched today. Go over there. Went to go see a movie with Tiff, with my wife, in the theaters. It was a one day only. I think it was something Daft Punk. Yeah, it was like a special event. I think it was like a remaster for Daft Punk.
Oh, cool.
I remember the album that they did, but it was like a little movie to go with their music, and it was pretty good. I just can't remember the name of it.
Nice. I like Daft Punk.
Yeah, I think it was like a 1995 album, but yeah. And then of
Well,
course wrestling, but um, the Final Testament and Wyatt Six feud has been keeping me going. It's real good, especially when Cross does his promos on Instagram.
I heard his promos have been really good. I haven't watched any of the weekly shows. I just caught Survivor Series and Saturday Night's Main Event. Um, I tried to go back and watch some of the Raw recently, but I don't know.
I kind of miss them, but I like go back and like watch the Instagram reels that they post. But I did watch War Games and what was the other one? The NXT
Oh,
Iron Survivor, I think, or I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what the match is called at least. And the women's match was much better than the women's War Games match, which props to those 5 women.
yeah. Yeah, it's been a few interesting weeks as far as like where a lot of these storylines are going. Like it feels like they could lead into a Mania already, but then you're still like, man, there's still almost 5 months until Mania. So
I like that they're making the Netflix debut feel
it's
that
huge.
big, where you are saying it like it feels like Mania because they have the debut. It's CM Punk versus Rollins. That's a Mania match right there.
Yeah,
And then you finally getting Roman Reigns 1-on-1 against Solo for the necklace. I forgot what it's called. But the
the
necklace,
Eufaula.
Ula Fala.
Yeah,
That's a Mania match. That's a pay per view match right there. And then you have I think the finals of the Intercontinental Women's tournament.
Yep.
And
Somebody's
was another
debuting
match.
on that show too.
Yes, Penta might be debuting on that show as well.
So yeah, it's made to be pretty big. I'm looking forward to it. I hope they don't have the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson issue going on. Um, you know, I don't think that many people are going to be tuning into Monday Night Raw, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what match closes out the show too. I've heard that Punk and Rollins is supposed to main event.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's the main event.
Yeah,
That's what
so
Triple H announced.
yeah. Um, and it's gonna be fun to see where The Rock fits in all this and what happens, and I don't know. But
Oh, you have John Cena's returning for his final year in wrestling, or in WWE at least.
yeah, um, I'll run through mine real quick. I've just been like on a lot of Christmas movie binge watching lately. Four Christmases, Miracle on 34th Street. Red One is on Amazon Prime now. If you guys want to check it out, it's pretty fun. It's decent. I've been going through Hellraiser, my Hellraiser box set, so there's that. Bad Santa, Jingle All the Way, Home Alone for a recent episode of mine, Black Christmas. I checked out Carry On, which is on Netflix. I also checked out Subservience with Megan Fox, which is on Netflix. Complete garbage, Subservances. I don't even know Megan Fox is still making movies. Um, and then Cruel Intentions. So if you guys want to follow anything that I watch or put on social media with this life, you can just follow the Instagram is one word Cinnamon Movie Podcast. So Nick, good sir, 9 minutes in the making, but how are you, sir?
I'm just making this is the longest time for the intro to go on. At least in my end. Normally known as the 4K bad guy, but as you saw earlier on that the bottom of my screen, Saint Nick, the H silent. Been been hanging around. As far as recent watches, really, I remember the last time we were on, I said that I was interested in going seeing the Y2K movie. Went to go see that. What? Of course, the usual highlights of wrestling, keeping up with that. Um, I don't know, not really a whole lot of movies, really. Just random live streams I catch on YouTube.
Nice. It's
Did you
always
pick up
good.
the Terrifier 3 yet on 4K?
So yeah, you know it. I know it's out. Also, the Mean One has the Steelbook release. Plus, that's been popping up, but this month's been kind of shitty for me to even buy anything. So yeah, I won't be back on track until like maybe next month or so.
I
Oh, I
can
also checked out the what were you saying one? The red one, right? It's what's called with the Rock.
the red one with the Rock. Yeah.
I saw so much bad reviews on TikTok, so it made me actually go check it out. I got halfway through it. It's interesting. I like it. I
Yeah.
just turned it off whenever I was about to go to bed. I thought I'll finish watching it later on. But it's a good Rock movie. I mean, like
Yeah.
it's what you expect from the Rock and Christmas and Chris
Yeah.
Evans.
I see a whole bunch of hate on it, and I'm like, it's not bad considering it's a brand new, fresh take on Santa Claus.
Yeah,
Like,
people are hating on it because like it did terrible at the box office, but it's like it's a Christmas movie. It came out I think mid-November.
yeah, Christmas
And
movies don't do very good at the box office. Not
Mhm.
everybody celebrates Christmas. And again, it came out before Thanksgiving. Who wants to go see a Christmas movie 2 weeks after Halloween?
yeah,
Um, yeah. But yeah, Carry On is also pretty decent. It's completely surrounded by Christmas. It's on Netflix. You should go check it out. Um, there's a lot of people out there saying it's as good as Die Hard. I don't know about that, but it's pretty decent.
been seeing a whole bunch of memes on that one. I don't know what the hell it's about.
It's really, really predictable, but it does give you some kind of sense of thriller in there. So, but yeah, I agree with you. Red One is fun. Let's dig into what we're talking today. This is actually Franco's pick. So we're talking Smile 2. It just recently came out on Paramount Plus. It does not come out on physical media until mid-January. On IMDb, it has a 6.8 and 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, 67 on the Metascore, and then a 3.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, with an October 18th, 2024 release date. The budget was only $28 million, and it grossed a little over $138 million at the box office. Starring Naomi Scott, Rosemarie DeWitt, Luke Cage, Peter Jacobson, Ray Nicholson, directed by Parker Finn. So, about to embark on a world tour, global pop sensation Sky Riley begins experiencing increasingly terrifying and unpredictable events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors of the pressures of fame, Sky is forced to face her past. So before we get into this, it is spoiler territory. We're 13 minutes and 30 seconds into the episode. Go check this movie out on Paramount Plus. It is still actually in some select theaters, depending on where your location is. But check it out on Paramount Plus. You get a free 7-day trial, and after that, it's only $7.99 with ads. So anyway, let's dig into it. Franco, you will go first. Is this the first time that you saw the movie for the podcast? And what'd you think when it was over?
It was indeed my first time watching it for a podcast, and whenever it was done, I thought it was a good sequel, good follow up.
Oh, excuse me. I'll go next. I think this movie outdoes the original in almost every way. So in a few short words, I just finished watching it for the podcast. And yeah, I think it's a solid sequel, and I think it outdoes the original. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, I originally went to go see it, and the movie's either coming out of the theater. I went to go see it with my older brother, and a little hesitant on how like where this kind of ranks in these movies. And I was telling him like I'm real biased, and I'm a fan of Kyle Garner, and since the first movie had more of him and very little of him in this movie, I think for a while sitting on that it was kind of hard to judge the movies, but I think kind of staying around the end, I enjoyed it more.
That's a good bring up because that's how this movie starts out with Joel. 6 days later from the original one. It starts off hot and heavy, and it doesn't even feel really like a horror movie when this movie kicks off. He's trying to, you know, in all essence, if you guys have not seen the first one, go back and check it out. They're both on Paramount Plus. They're pretty decent movies. Um, Knowing the twist, if you say, because at the end of the first movie, it's kind of like, what's going on? What is this thing? But the way the second movie starts off, you automatically know the twist. You know that it's a demon that possesses the bodies, that makes you look like a different, all that good stuff. So you know what it's about. Knowing the twist ahead of hand, I feel like that would have been like really hard to get me to enjoy the second movie. But I'm like, they did it very, very well in this movie, at least knowing the twist before you even come into the movie. What do you guys think of that opening sequence where just literally it's like a mob scene, bodies flying everywhere, and then it ends with Joel getting hit by that car?
That was a visual for sure. But I like the opening. I like that it just immediately took place right after the first movie. So I really enjoyed it.
Um, and this has way more jump scares than the first one does, and sometimes that could be a bad thing. But I didn't notice anything bad about all the jump scares in this movie. Did you guys? What about you guys? I completely like enjoyed everything from the jump scares. Naomi Scott, I think, is the absolute best thing of this movie. Her portrayal of a famed pop star who was addicted to drugs, has back pain, has a past, and it's like haunting her. Like her facials throughout this whole movie is phenomenal. I think she deserves a lot of recognition for this role.
I enjoyed her in this film, but like I know other movies that she's come out in, but like I haven't seen the Lad movie with Will Smith. I know she came on that Power Ranger movie back in 2017. I think she also came on that Charlie's Angels reboot. But yeah, definitely think it was a great good performance there.
She's in a lot of reboots. So yeah, this is definitely her by far her standout role, I think. She did good as Jasmine in Aladdin, but this one was just above and beyond. I did not expect this kind of performance from her, especially in a horror movie sequel. Like we all know as horror fans, those are mostly doomed to begin with anyway. But this was just it's pretty phenomenal. So
I don't think
Lee,
I've seen her in any other movies. This is
yeah,
my first time seeing her.
yeah, she was phenomenal. So um what do you guys think of like the second scene? Some of the deaths is next would be is it what's his name? Is it Alex? No, Lewis. Lewis's death, where he just like takes the weight and just bashes his head with the weights. Um,
That one was in the trailer, I believe, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I just watching it the full scene just was much worse than the trailer gave off.
I didn't think he was gonna hit himself that many times with it, but um, you know, that's one thing I'll say about this movie is at least the first one. It'll take a little bit for the second one to sit in, seeing as that I just finished it about an hour and a half ago. But like the first movie, it's hard to remember, but I can remember like four scenes that stand out. And then the ending was just kind of a little awkward for me. This one is almost the exact same, um, with some of the scenes that just like kind of stand out. So
The ending on this one, I felt like it didn't drag on, but it dragged on. Like I was looking at my phone, thinking that was about to be the end, and it wasn't. But I still enjoyed the rest of the scenes that followed. But
I get it, like because there, I don't. We didn't talk the first smile, did we?
I
I
think
think
that was a Nick and Fuentes.
no,
No?
I don't think it got reviewed at all. Um, I could have sworn I've talked to somebody about this movie before, but it almost felt like the ending was
Maybe
just
6.
the ending was just almost like a nonstop. Like there could have been like 2 or 3 endings. You know what this is? You know what the ending kind of reminded me of was Trap. I think that's where I'm getting the two confused. To where when we talked about Trap, it was like, hey, this could have been the ending. No, this could have been the ending. There's like 3 or 4 different endings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how this one felt too. Like it still was enjoyable throughout it, but it's just you could have ended it there and called it a day. Which I don't even know how long the movie was. Was it like 2 hours? Was it?
2 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah, they could have just ended like at 2 or even an hour 45. I think is whenever I was filling it.
Yeah. So, that's kind of like the base common now of like certain horror movies. We're getting ready to fill the girth with Nosferatu because I think Nosferatu is like 2 hours and 30 minutes or 220. Where should horror movies just generally base? Like if it's a good
An hour and 20.
an hour and 20. There's even been some hour and 20-minute movies that I'm just like, man, this thing is dragging. But it's like as long as the story is good, and I feel like as long as there's just so much to tell, I think 2 hours is fine. But it's almost like, and you guys can jump in if you want, but there's been so many horror movies lately that I feel that are balancing out at like 2 hours that I feel like if they were an hour and 40 minutes, man, that might be a 5-star movie for me. But because of the extra 25 minutes or 20 minutes and it just feels like it's dragging, I'm like, man, checking my phone, clicking a pin. I don't know. Nick, what about you? You see a lot of movies in the theaters. You're caught up with like a lot of recent horror movies. What's your take on horror movies nowadays? 2 hours too long?
Um, well, not even mentioning about the previews. I know there's a lot of casuals that go after the previews, but as a person who gets there early on and buys popcorn and whatnot, sitting there was like 20 minutes of previews. But yeah, it's a movie. I mean, it really just depends on the movie, honestly. If you're enjoying it, it goes by pretty quick. I don't know. It's a weird uh like you're in the theater, it's kind of no problem, but if you when you're at home, it kind of becomes a little tricky because when you're at home, you have the option to pause and take piss breaks. You can do at the movies, but you're gonna miss the movie. But um, 2 hours, it's pretty. I mean, yeah, girthy. I'm trying to think of what subgenre I would think I would enjoy the 2 hour kind of length to it. Like a slasher, not really. More probably supernatural, maybe.
So like this Smile 2 is kind of like right in between. So the 2 hours kind of feels good, but it's just the undecisiveness of the ending. And then even the slashers lately, Terrifier 3 I think was 2 hours. Terrifier 2 was a little bit longer than that. Scream, the last Scream movie was like 2 hours. So some of those
If,
are
if you're giving me gore and like kills like Terrifier 3, you're fine at being 2 hours. It's like if you're like what he had said, the supernatural and slasher, like if you're not doing that many kills in the slasher, then yeah, an hour and 20 I think is good. Like I think Sick was like an hour and 20, and I think that was a good slasher movie.
I haven't seen that in a minute.
I think that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. So we can get back to Smile 2. Um, the relationship that she has with, is it Gemma? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but
Gemma.
Gemma.
Hmm.
She is completely believing that she's mending fences with the best friend. So that comes back to bite her.
That threw me off. I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
My entire looking forward to this movie. I was really looking forward to seeing the performance of Ray Nicholson. And we got to see a pretty good performance from him. He's been in some other movies like Promising Young Woman, Licorice Pizza, and now Smile 2. um, What do you guys think of Ray Nicholson in this movie?
Considering his
Ooh,
little appearances. He's the boyfriend that is in the crash, which
gotcha.
keeps re-seeing him. He's also the son in real life, Jack Nicholson,
Hmm.
which is pretty cool. Does that smile? Like it reminds me of his dad, creepy smile.
Hmm.
But then again, I mean, just like very little scenes with them.
Yeah,
And a lot of it.
I wouldn't have an opinion on that because it was very little scenes and it was a small moments.
The most you get verbal from him would be obviously the flashback when she actually you're seeing how actually goes down the car crash. Just them arguing. Of course, going blank on her name, main actress Naomi Scott. Like she's all clearly not sober. Um, and she's arguing with like off them the whole time, going back and forth, back and forth.
Swerves off.
But I do love the different point of view action going on there.
So it flirts with the idea that, like, at least before the scene where it shows that she crashed both of them, it kind of flirts with the idea that she might have been either the innocent one or, what was really going on here. But when you see she's the one that takes the wheel and she swerves it off, like it's almost like dang, you're like, who are you trying to defend now? At least in the movie, like, is she? You know what I mean?
It's like, damn, maybe you are crazy.
Yeah. Um, but I think he did phenomenal in this. He was one of the main reasons I wanted to see this movie in the theater. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I thought his craziness and his eyes just reminded me so much of his dad in The Shining. He blew it out of the water for me in this movie. I wish there was more of him. So, but yeah. With a movie surrounded by so many good performances and jump scares, um, there's some characters of the movie that are just like, he should not have that much screen time. Um, you guys have any characters that you're just like, why are you in this?
The mom manager.
The mom being the manager, yeah, I had an issue with her. I also had an issue. The guy who played Morris, who's the guy who tried to help at the end, who's the one that it attacked his brother.
Hmm.
He's kind of somebody who's like, he's probably the one who did it for a bag of chips and a can of soda.
Mm, I would have done the same thing. No, I mean it feels like unnecessary, but I do kind of like it's a little bit acknowledging like oh you're 8 people of like in front or whatever like since the occurrence from his brother. Almost kind of like it'd be cool to see more stories somewhat of that. It's
That's
like
why I
we're
felt like,
all dead.
yeah, that's why I felt like it was like saying up for a prequel.
So you're talking about like you wanted more, you still kind of want a little bit more backstory on the actual entity itself.
Uh, not a whole lot, but because this movie doesn't really answers too many questions, it just kind of goes on with the oh just doing this the demon doing this thing. You didn't really get anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's another reason why I'm like, you technically don't need to watch the first one to enjoy Smile 2, but then you're also like, yeah, you kind of do, depending on how much backstory you actually want of the demon itself. Um, I think the whole concept of the smiling throws people off. Uh, but I think that's where the first one was so good at some of those original jump scares to where you saw the jump scare coming in the first one, but it still got you. This one, they were like, you're not going to see it coming, but let's see if we get you anyway. Like the scene with the obsessed fan where he was like not wanting to let go and he was getting his sweater signed. the scene where he comes back and he's fully nude and he runs towards her and you can hear the footsteps. Like you can see that coming a mile away, but it still kind of got you, you know. Or like the smiling little girl right after the obsessed fan tries to not let her go. So
Yeah, well, the obsessive fan was that was kind of cool throw in, kind of tricky. Like it was the guy, the demon also, but he's just a normal creepy dude. Pretty sure a lot of celebrities have relatable stories to that. There's a bunch of weirdos on the internet. Kind of fits his description, sort of.
but you know what's crazy and kind of creepy about the description is you can tell that he was a user and he was like it's almost like he looked up to her because she was like one of them. Like you could with all the marks on his face and stuff, you can definitely tell he was a druggie. And what made that scene so creepy was like, man, he's almost looking up at you, not like just a famous pop star, but like, oh, you're one of me. You use just like I do. And yeah, that's to me that's what got like under my skin literally like, man, that's kind of creepy because, you know, what kind of pop star can say I bring out the crackheads, you know?
Something I was kind of wondering about, because I don't think in the first movie they ever actually do see the NCGs. Like it's usually the person infected that sees them. But I think other people actually did see the little girl, even the person taking pictures with her. So that was like, huh.
Or that's just maybe a plot hole that they forgot to cover up that you discovered, Nick.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, like everything that happened within that span was reversed, and she went back to when the movie originally started. So
Did that throw you guys off?
I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. I think this movie was shot very well. I think the costume design with everything with her being a pop star and all the different, you know, logos and costumes, the whole scar incident where she's self-conscious about the scar. Um, all those scenes are it's very very well detail oriented as far as like why you see the things the way you see it. Um, and that's something that you don't get in a lot of horror movies today or any even 30, 40 years ago is that this movie is just very well detail oriented as far as like stuff like that goes. So even all the way back to where she's rehearsing and she hurts her back and boom, now she needs more pain medicine. So it's, it's pretty cool.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
This movie was sponsored by Voss. In case you didn't know.
yeah. That's the water of 800 plus credit scores. I I also want to know, do you think she chugged the water like that in one take, or do you think she had to pause in between? Because that throat action was something different.
Mm. Mm.
I tried that. I was watching it just now, trying to do the same thing with my water. Couldn't do it.
Do you want to do it again?
No. Speaking of who's hot, and I'm gonna kind of change this format if that's okay, at least for me in this direction, because I didn't want to seem like a duty person or anything. I didn't want to seem like a male
Dude.
chauvinist reviewer here. But when I'm talking about who's hot in this movie, I'm talking about somebody who's just firing on all cylinders. Naomi Scott, looks, acting ability, facial expressions, the way she wore the wardrobe, her screams, even the way she looked frightened. To me, she's like the overall just game changer in this movie. So had a really hard time between choosing who's hot between her or Ray Nicholson, even though he's only given just a few little bit of screen time. His chops are just out there as far as like screaming and yelling. So that's who I'm going to pick is Naomi Scott.
I'll go with Naomi Scott as well. She was good in the film.
for changing up the format, huh? Damn, I was actually gonna choose Kyle Garner on this one, but
I mean, if honestly, without his performance in the first 10 minutes, I think the movie starts off kind of like feeling like a little bit of a dud. He gives you the comfortability of the first movie. I think you could go with Kyle for who's hot in this movie.
I could, um, yeah, just going back to me and that just I love the whole. It was like I felt like a one shot take on the whole thing.
Because the moment he gets out of the car with the gun, you're like, dude, what is he doing? And then when the guy with the puffy jacket sounds like a Russian mobster, you're like, whoa, now what is he really doing? Um, and then his death sets up the jump scares for the rest of the film. So, not bad, not bad. I will say this has two different feels to it as far as like Act 1, Act 2. I agree. I'm still going to agree with Franco. Like Act 3 is completely a little bit forgettable. Is that a bad word to use?
There's the bad word. I mean,
Rushed,
oh
maybe.
shit, it was a complete mind fuck, honestly.
Yeah, it feels like a rush to where I'm like I wanted to go back and just kind of rewatch the last 30 minutes just because I wanted to make sure, I didn't get screwed out of anything. I didn't get the old Bret Hart treatment.
Where do you consider the start of Act 3?
I would probably say the moment she winds back into the hospital and she kills her mom, or the entity kills her mom. So probably like the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, because I thought like that was about to be the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could maybe even say the moment you see her drive the car off the ledge. But I would still say maybe, yeah, to me, when she wakes up in the hospital bed, that's Act 3. Yeah.
I think this movie though, the ending of it, I did enjoy. But like going the pop star route and then this movie having to do like you have to see someone die for you to get passed on the entity. I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna do she's gonna die in front of, a live audience, which they did, and I was glad that they did that. But you got to see him hit himself towards the beginning with the weights, and you didn't get to see her do that same thing with the mic. So I didn't like that part.
So with her dying in front of all those people, that thing can just pretty much go wherever now.
Mm-hmm. Sets up for a sequel, and they also, like we said earlier, set up for a prequel as well. Which I would like to see a prequel on it.
Yeah. So that being said, with the movie kind of going that route of now it can go to anybody at any time, and there is another one probably set up for success. You guys think it might be a little hard to top this one? Because this one, even at the end of the day, with the ending feeling a little rushed, and at the end of the day, I feel like this was still a pretty solid movie. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I think this is a solid sequel. I hope this just doesn't turn into 4 or 5. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of drags on.
I feel like they could just end it with this one, honestly. But
I did have some feeling when I was watching this today of Nick. We talked about it a few years ago. What's that movie again? It Follows. This kind of had It Follow vibes to me. I didn't think about It Follows at all in the first movie, but I did this one. That's kind of weird, huh? Did anybody else get those vibes?
especially when the Seth fan was naked, yeah.
that one. I mean, maybe with this watch even also, but um, just because I brought up the earlier how they were able to see the little girl too, and how it follows plays out. No one else sees the entity, so I mean they're kind of similar in that vibe.
So, at the beginning of the movie, when Joel was going into the house and he saw the lady burning, wasn't that the girl from the first movie, or was that technically the entity? What was that?
The vessel, the girl from the other movie, but yeah, the demon.
Yeah,
I like how the demon is just playing games the whole way.
yeah.
Some sick humor even could. One thing I think I can think of from the first film is whenever when the main actress, the character, she gets a gift for her nephew, and then it ends up being the cat, dead cat.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, that was from the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, just like the whole this demon's humor is pretty.
You didn't get to see a lot of that one in this one.
Yeah, so it was more like it's more like
This one was kind of like more straightforward, I guess. But I think it does that because, hey, you kind of already know the twist, maybe. So,
the
did you guys have a favorite? We'll talk about death before we talk about an actual scene. But did you guys have like a favorite kill or death?
The weight plate.
The weight plate.
Well, no. The beginning, he gets run over. I like the visual that they gave it at the very beginning when he got run over.
It's not that many really to choose from, right? There's Joel's from the beginning, the weights, the mother. Technically, is that it?
Her, but
Her.
if you count that one, I mean,
I thought the mom's was pretty gross. But I mean, honestly, if I have to choose out of the three, if there's technically only those three, I'd have to say the weights. It was real detailed too, especially the last one where his cheek falls down and stuff. Yeah. Nick?
kill. Yeah, probably go with the weights. I do like his recurring appearances. Like you see him at the mirror scene, which you get to see in the trailer, which he lifts up for smile. Um, yeah, because there wasn't really a whole lot of deaths in this, but I think just visually, there's a lot of cooler scenes like we mentioned earlier, the creepy guy reappearing, uh, which is more likely the demon taking that shape of that guy. So I mean, the real guy exists, and of course the demon took that shape because it takes shape of anything. Just the way the clothes were on the floor, you see the dirty ass underwear. Him running.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. I was like, why did that need to be in there? That's um favorite scene? Franco, you wanna go?
I can't remember where it's at. I'm pretty sure it's like towards the ending, but when she's in the, I think it's up to her. She goes to the hospital, but she's all the people are inside smiling and attack her. That entire scene, I like the visual it gave off, and she looks like she's being mauled by all of them.
Oh yeah. That was pretty good visual.
Uh,
I'd probably have to say the little monologue given between her and Ray or her and Paul uh in the car before she drives it off the cliff. Um that was pretty good.
I mean, I also like the trickery of the demon pretending to be the friend, making up after making up, but of course in reality they never. It wasn't the real person. she's all calling in the car, like, for what she says. She's like, you told me this. You think I'm just gonna forgive you or something like that?
It's like all these weird messages you're sending me.
See, what are all these weird messages? And then the ending of the pretty much Demon Gwen, kind of like a gotcha moment, like, oh, you're not in control, you're not winning this, and then, of course you fast forward and you get to that Herculean herself. It's a weird because I would agree with Franco. I would have rather seen the kill actually being seen, but I also kind of like the effect of seeing the reaction of people.
Yeah, the reaction's probably the one that I would have rather much stood out to try to get that visual of.
Well,
So
the scene that they did was like you could have seen both, seen it on the TV and the reaction of the crowd because you're able to see the screens that they had. I thought that's what they were going to go with, was having it on the screen, so you see 3 different visuals of it, or 3 of the same visuals. But they didn't pull it off.
that would have been pretty cool.
Maybe it was for the ones in the back, like they wanted everyone in that building to see.
Maybe it'll be extras.
It's for all the for everybody in the cheap seats.
The cheap seats, nosebleeds.
Let's give a rating. Machete rating for Smile 2. Frankie, you want to go first?
I checked back and it was me and Manny that reviewed the first Smile. I don't know what I gave it, but this one I'm giving it 4.5. It was a really good movie. It kept me entertained throughout the whole movie. I don't think I was on my phone except for like the last, I had mentioned the last 15 or 20. But yeah, it was a really good movie. I liked it from beginning to end.
I liked it a lot. I'm gonna go a little lower though, but I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. So a lot of good jump scares, really, really solid. Some really great performances. Yeah, solid flick. 3.5. Go check it out. Nick?
I'm gonna sit right in the middle with the four machetes, Danny Trejo's Cuatro.
Yeah, see, I told you you got to do it. You got to do both now, English and Spanish. So, yeah, Smile 2, man. Go check it out. It's on Paramount Plus. I can't believe it takes several more weeks for it to hit physical media, but that's the day and age that we're living in now. So go check it out. Smile 2, Paramount Plus, it up. So
When does the movie come out? You said earlier.
October 14th, I believe.
I mean, I only ask because Terrifier
October.
pretty much got pushed out pretty fast on physical.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised when I saw it. I was like, what the hell?
Which means Terrifier 3 should be getting ready to play on Peacock too, for those of you that don't buy physical media, I believe, since they're all on Peacock, right? Or Amazon Prime. Those movies are loved though, so I think a lot of people are just out to get Terrifier whichever way they can.
He was in David Harthorne was in Austin a couple weeks ago. Got to meet him, get my pop sign. It's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like
It's a lot of people. It was a small like horror con. It was like their 10th year. But I guess they didn't predict how big, because they had him booked apparently back in July or some shit. And I guess they didn't predict how big the movie was going to be even more after part 3. And their line for his meet and greet was it's probably the worst like meet and greet line I've ever done.
Oh wow.
They had to do like a numbering system. I had a show down the street like a mile away that I had to get to by 4. And I got to their venue at 1 to meet them. And like I didn't get my autograph until about I think like 4:15. I told the venue, I was like, oh, Austin traffic, whatever.
You're gonna watch this back like, oh, you son of a bitch.
But he was cool. He was cool to meet.
That's pretty cool. Did you have to pay, or did you just have to pay the tickets to the Comic-Con?
No, I had to pay. The ticket for the con was $15, and it if I stayed the night, it was there for available for Saturday, Sunday. I could have went back the next day with it. But
How much?
I think I paid 90 for the Funko Pop signature plus a photo. His signatures were 40. If you have a Funko Pop, it's an upcharge to 60 for whatever fucking reason. And then the photos, I think, were 40 as well. Or you could have done the autograph photo for like 60.
That's called he ain't getting that many phone calls. That's why he's up in those charges.
Oh no, that's with every celebrity now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I guess people will just resell the pops and everything, so they're like, might as well make our money right now. It's real dumb because all I do is the only thing I collect autograph wise is Funko Pops, and I'm having to pay that fucking extra for a fucking Funko Pop sign. But what's the name? The one that played Sonic, Jason Griffin, right? Nick was just in town for I think this past weekend or last weekend, and was it 80 for a Funko Pop and figure? So yeah, it's ridiculous.
I have somebody who works for the he's like a vendor for the Oklahoma City Horror Con every August, and he texted me yesterday. He was like, if you're trying to work this year and be a part of the media for this year's Horror Con, you definitely should, because there's rumors that they're trying to get Robert Englund for the Horror Con this year in August, and I'm like, fingers crossed. So
That's dope.
Who knows? We'll see.
One of my friends doing he's running a convention here in October next year, and he's saying he's trying to get David Howard Thornton, that he already emailed them, and he apparently already knows his fee and everything, so he's trying to get him locked in for a date to come down over here to Corpus. So
yeah,
I was like, if you lock him in, that's dope. But we'll see.
Hell yeah. Man, any plans going on this weekend for you guys? Any wrestling? It is Christmas weekend.
I might go to Hybrid this Saturday. They have a 10-man tag team with Chase Owens, who's part of the Bullet Club, Ricky and Kerry Morton, the father and son duo, and then Jesse Funaki, the son of Joe Funaki, along with Joe Funaki, are in a tag team together. So, like, two different legends with their sons. I want to see that. And then Ace Steel on the other side, who is CM Punk's, I don't fucking know, coach or some shit. He's the one that got fired. What CM Punk did.
Nick, what about you? Any plans?
Finish off the week.
I feel that, man. Finishing out the week, crazy busy week ahead. No episode for me next week, here or there or anywhere. I think we're all going to enjoy a whole solid week off. Everybody enjoy Christmas. You guys can see me on a next episode of the Cinema Movie Podcast on New Year's Eve. We'll be talking about Nosferatu. New Year's Eve, 7 p.m. Here with you guys, it'll be January the 9th, and we'll be talking about Mickey's Mousetrap. So go check it out. It's on Tubi. It's streaming exclusively on Tubi, and January the 9th, 8 p.m., that's what we'll be talking about. So 2 weeks from tonight should be a fun conversation. So actually, no, sorry, 3 weeks from tonight. 3 weeks from tonight, Thursday, January the 9th. So
an extended vacation.
Extended. Other than that, guys, any other pointers that we want to put on Smile 2 before we get out of here?
Go watch it.
Smile, frown, stick your tongue out. I don't care. Just go watch it. Listen to this episode. Like, subscribe, share, and don't forget to watch the movies this holiday season. Have a good, safe, and happy holidays. Nick, y'all have a good Christmas. We'll see y'all later.
Peace. Love talking.
See y'all. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.